My reflection today stems from Whitney Houston's song. To all the Holy Angel University teachers, DepEd teachers, if you remember, I used the song The Greatest Love of All as our inspiration. And there's a particular line that song that I heard someone commenting, ang ganda sana ng kanta, except for that line, learning to love yourself, it is the greatest love of all. Buti walang tao dito. Yan. Learning to love yourself, it is the greatest love of all. And somebody commented, ganda sana ng kanta, hinga lang ang selfish ng dating nung mga linyang yon. Tapos napaisip ako, no? Learning to love yourself is the greatest love of all. It's not a selfish kind of love, like learning to love yourself is not egotistical in that sense. I realized this past week, especially since my Tita Lillian, is sick right now. She's fighting a good fight, critically ill right now. Please pray for her. As you listen to me, please accompany me in praying for her. I realized how loving yourself is indeed the greatest love of all. And there are 3 things I want to share about loving yourself. The first is health. Loving yourself, taking care of your body, is one way to love yourself. And by you keeping healthy, by you keeping healthy in body, mind, and spirit, you're also loving the people around you, diba? Parang by not giving them anything to worry about, by allowing them to also live their lives freely. So health, no? I was reflecting because my tita's been in the hospital for more than 2 weeks, and she's slowly progressing, but of course it could be better, it could be faster, no? But she's really fighting a good fight. We could tell that she's suffering a lot, and she's making a lot of sacrifices. The inconvenience, the pain, the hardship that she's going through. She's in the ICU right now. And also the sacrifices that her daughter, my cousin Keisha, is making as she shuttles in and out of the ICU and juggling work and taking care of a dog and all of these things. 2 things about health I realized, or the opposite of which is sickness, diba? Sickness can break you. Sickness destroys. Sickness makes you weak. Sickness is negative. It's something we all do not welcome, whether it's a splinter, a paper cut, or a common cold, or something as serious as cancer or a stroke. It's something that can break you. But there is something about health or sickness that I realized, that though it can break the body, it is a powerful means through which people come together, a family comes together. Sickness can also bind. Sickness can also mend. And my tita, she's the sister of my mom, and they come from a brood of 8 children. It's a big family. And my tita is the simple one. She keeps to herself. She's been living a very simple life all these years, and she wasn't the type to complain or ask anything as much from the family. But she has been, ever since she was young, physically on the weak side, prone to getting sick. And this is by far her biggest battle yet, her biggest, most serious, critical condition yet. And as I was observing her the past few days, visiting her in the hospital, syempre nakakaawa, diba? Maawa ka talaga sa lahat ng mga may sakit. Hindi lang tita ko, kundi lahat naman nasa ICU. Lahat lumalaban, lahat sinusubukang gumaling, diba? Sa madaling oras. But beyond the brokenness or the breaking of what sickness can do to our bodies, I saw how the family, cousins and uncles and aunties who I rarely see, come and visit out of love, great love for her. So I believe sickness is also a message from our good Lord. Of course, I believe that He doesn't want any of us to suffer. In the end, He all dreams for us to live a meaningful and happy life. But when sickness does come, He doesn't waste it. You know, it's not, kumbaga, it's not by accident you get sick. Perhaps it's because of poor choices, or perhaps it's in the genes. But sickness comes with a message. It comes with a message, and more often than not, a wake-up call. A wake-up call to either change our ways, our bad habits, our routines, or maybe it's a wake-up call to, to be more mindful and pay attention to things that we have been taking for granted. Like, it's a call to revisit something we've been missing out on, or we've been taking for granted nga. Whether it's an unfulfilled dream, or it's a relationship, or whatever. It's a call to revisit. It's a challenge to shift gears. So there, that's the first thought that came into my mind. How can I love myself more? Learning to love yourself. It is the greatest love of all. By staying healthy, by making the right choices when it comes to my body. Because should I break down, get sick, it's not just me. It's not just me who gets affected. An entire community, entire village, the entire family also suffers with the one who's sick. So if you love yourself and you love your family, stay healthy. Stay healthy physically, stay healthy mentally. Which brings me to the second point. Loving yourself is also knowing your worth and reminding yourself all the time. Sorry, ang ingay. Katabi ko kasi yung kitchen. Yeah, knowing your worth, and that your worth is not based on how much you can do, how much you've done, diba? Although that helps, diba? Syempre, we're called to be proactive and to serve and to love. Sure, that adds to your value. But doing does not define your value. It's good to remember that to love yourself is also to love the God who is in our hearts, the God who created us, the God who every day wakes us up and gives us another chance to live, to breathe, to forgive those who have hurt us, to forgive ourselves for our mistakes and our wrongdoings. Like just this morning, I gave a short talk to the grade 11 students of Assumption. If you girls are watching, I felt bad leaving the auditorium because there was a big chunk of my talk that I forgot, that I didn't get to share. Career journey yung topic, and I focused too much on college. Anyway, point is, I was parang I was frustrated with myself after the talk. I forgot to say many things, and I ran out of time and I forgot basically. So going back to loving yourself means, hey, it's okay, I made a mistake. For sure, the Holy Spirit used me somehow, and I'm hoping at least one thing I said, had value to the students who were listening this morning. So there, loving yourself is remembering and reminding yourself that you are God's child, and everything we do here is, parang we do what we can with the limited time we have here. We're just on borrowed time, borrowed space, borrowed breath. So every day, especially when we get downtrodden, disappointed, judged by people, to love yourself also, you have to nurture a healthy mind, healthy spirit, healthy mindset. Diba? And the third is, loving yourself also is being decisive. Being decisive. One of the things that I mentioned in the talk today is knowing what you want. What do you want? And for someone like me to ask myself that question, I struggle with that question all the time. What do I want? I don't know, diba? Anything, kayo, ang gusto nyo, diba? So easy to pass the responsibility to someone else to make the decision for you, or ipasa Diyos. Maganda naman yung ipasa Diyos, diba? Lord, bahala ka na. Pero kung yung bahala na yan ay walang kaakibat na action, at nakahiga ka lang at Lord, bahala ka na, I trust in you, but you're not proactively approaching the decision that needs to be made, then that's also a disservice to yourself. And it's a disservice for the people around you who constantly have to hold your hand, or have to make salo or have to make the decision for you, di ba? Because you are sitting on the fence. So, yun. Marami at maraming lumabas sa linggong ito. At nagmula yon sa kanta ni Whitney Houston na Greatest Love of All. At ako kasi pag meron akong binibigay na talk at may nagko-comment na parang hindi ko nagustuhan to, hindi ako agree dyan, mas lalo kong iniisip na oo nga no, did she mean loving yourself, entitled loving yourself, the world revolves around me? And I believe if you listen to the whole song, loving yourself is really loving or embracing your worth as a human being, that we are all children of God, that even before we even do anything, the value is there. The worth of our humanity is there because God created us. The value is not based on how much we can do what we do, but the value is because He made us. He made us and He loves us so much that He wants to share this love with us. So every day it's a good reminder that I am God's child and I have worth. There may be people I'll bump into today who might not like me. And there might be people also today that I'll bump into that I don't like. But it doesn't mean that I disrespect their dignity, their humanity. And second is, so worth, right? Second is being decisive, knowing what you want. Especially for the grade 12 students, their grade 11 students who are already discerning their career paths, their university life. Diba? What do you want? And by you taking time to know what you're good at, what you love, taking time to know what the needs are in the world, really sitting down and making an honest assessment of yourself, who you are, diba? Know thyself, self-awareness is key, is also loving the people around you. Because others can't, you know, our parents, teachers, mentors, authority, people we look up to, they can't always decide for us. At some point, we just have to decide it on our own. So, loving yourself also means making clear decisions, discerning properly, and also considering how this decision would affect other people. And if you do so, if you consider how this will affect you, others, and God, and the environment, the world, then that ultimately is, I think, the greatest love of all, right? And the third and last, and I think the most important, at least for us as a family, the Tinio family, health. Keeping healthy, both in body and in spirit, is also a way of loving the people around us. Syempre, when we get sick, it's inevitable that we become more dependent on others. There are things we can't do on our own. They're so noisy. Diba? So we become dependent on the nurses, dependent on the doctors, on our family members. And of course, when we help, when we come to visit a sick loved one, we do so with love, you know, without any resentment, without any burden, because we love these people. But iniisip ko ako, parang are there poor choices I make every day that hurt my body, and you know, long-term effects or long-term bad habits can translate into a future sickness, and I don't want that, diba? If it can be avoided now, if it can be prevented, if I can start, you know, being more religious and taking those vitamins and watching my puyat nights, which is kind of hard to, you know, the bad habit is kind of hard to break. But, you know, as you grow older, loving others, loving your family especially, includes being mindful of your health and not abusing the body God has given us. And in the end, you know, even all these challenges, mistakes, burdens, inconveniences, pains, all have a message from the Lord. All have, ika nga ni Catriona Gray, silver lining, right? Today, I've seen, in the past few weeks, I've seen how sickness can actually also bring a family together. And it's actually a beautiful thing to behold. How pain, how hardship can bring a family together.